We are going to talk about rhetorical appeals, and rhetorical appeals is really about the available means of persuasion. And even if the Greek terminology is new, you are actually quite expert at applying the rhetorical appeals. Okay, so that we can get past the vocabulary here, let's just directly deal with that. So, rhetorical appeals. Rhetoric is simply the art of using language effectively or persuasively. An appeal, in noun form, can mean an urgent request. So, when you think about that, a rhetorical appeal is an urgent request for the purpose of persuading. Okay. So, this is you on your couch watching TV in your baseball cap, and you are being slammed by rhetorical appeals. Any text has some kind of rhetorical appeal coming at you. All right, so whenever we are analyzing rhetorical appeals, what we're really asking ourselves is, how does a text appeal to an audience? How does a text persuade me? How does a text effectively manipulate me? Okay, there are really three answers to that. That's logos, pathos, and ethos. We're going to discuss logos first. Logos is logical appeal, and when you put those two sounds together, logos, logical, it's much easier to remember what that means. So logical appeal is anything that really appeals to your sense of reason, your logic. Okay, so some examples of that. This is not at all an exhaustive list. Some examples of that logical appeal are factual evidence. We're talking about statistics, results from observations or experiments, labs. Okay. Guiding someone through a logical chain of events, taking us down a logical pathway. That is logos. Deductive reasoning, inductive reasoning, that is logos as well. Then support from expert sources, and this word right here, expert, really is critical to keep in mind whenever we are discussing logos. So, in short, logos, logical appeal, anything that persuades you by means of getting to your brain. Okay, now the strongest of the three appeals, though, actually is pathos. And pathos is the strongest because it is the most immediate for us, just as people. Path in Greek means feel. Okay, so that's one way that helps us remember. Pathos is emotional appeal, something that appeals to our feelings. So this is going to be very strong. It's going to be very intense. It's going to be very dramatic. It's going to have a great, effective impact whenever you use pathos. On the other hand, whenever you're sitting on your couch watching TV, or you're in the grocery store shopping for things, picking up packages, you are also the most likely to be affected by pathos. So again, not an exhaustive list, but a few examples of this appeal. Anything at all that appeals to your senses, any imagery, a car commercial, for example. In the background, there's this beautiful, beautiful sunset. All right, so you have this really nice, positive association with this car now. It makes you think about it, makes you feel, experience, going on these wonderful adventures in this vehicle, these grand sights. Now, logically, the trip to the Grand Canyon does not come with your new car, but still we have that feeling, that reaction to the pathos. Anything that is beautiful, anything that is visually appealing is pathos. So that could be as simple as, a candy wrapper that has a really nice, slick design to it. Okay, anything that makes you transfer associations. That's also pathos. Back to the car commercial, where you've got that beautiful sense of the sunset, the adventure, something that is grand and huge and free. All those feelings are transferred from the background of the sunset to the car itself. You also see this in patriotic advertisement. The image of the American flag, for instance, because of the associations of patriotism and loyalty, we start transferring those feelings over into whatever it is that we're being sold. Now, I'm talking about this like you only see this in advertising, and that's not true. You see this in newspaper articles. You see this in books. You see this in any nonfiction and in fiction as well, but we will be focusing on analyzing nonfiction. All right. Now, the last of the appeals is ethos. And ethos, you can remember this one pretty easily too, because ethos sounds a lot like ethical appeal. And ethical appeal really can be broken into two categories. The first of these categories is trust, credibility. Okay? The second is doing what is right. Okay, let's talk first about trust and credibility. Anytime a speaker or a writer or a human being does something or says something in a way that shows they are trustworthy or qualified, that is ethos. I could show you, my diploma on the wall and all of my certifications that prove that I am qualified to be your English teacher. That is ethos. Whenever we have a guest speaker come and talk to us at school, whoever introduces them tells us, who they are, what they do, why we should listen to this person because they are an expert on their subject. That is ethos. Anytime you turn in an essay, let's say, and you have taken the time, to proofread your paper, there are no spelling mistakes. It is double-spaced. It is 12-point Times New Roman font. You have done everything exactly as requested. You are demonstrating good ethos as a student. You are showing your credibility already. Okay, so the other branch of ethical appeal is doing what is right. Okay, think about that for a moment. Doing something not because we want to, but because it is the ethically right thing to do. Okay, you may be noticing that I'm drinking some water here, and this is not just any brand of water. This is Ethos water. And if you've ever been inside a Starbucks, you know exactly where I got this from. Okay, Ethos water has some great examples of ethos actually on the packaging. So I wanted to show you this and talk about it. Okay. Aside from all the, the sleek design and everything, because that's not ethos, that is pathos, remember? We've got some great stuff here. Okay, this says, helping children get clean water. Now, first of all, we know this is ethos because it emphasizes doing what is right for people, helping children get clean water. That's an important cause. So therefore, you should buy this water, not another brand of water, okay? We also have this little bit of information right here. For every bottle of Ethos water you buy, Starbucks will donate 5 cents to support humanitarian programs in coffee-growing communities, providing clean, safe water to those in need. Okay. All of this is pointing the consumer toward doing what is the right thing to do. So buying a bottle of water is not just making a selfish purchase. Buying a bottle of water becomes an ethical experience where you actually do what is ethically right. Or at the very least, that's how you feel whenever you pay your, well, whatever much this pays. I'm not sure what the cost was. I guess I should have looked. Okay, now this gives us another point about ethical appeals. You may have noticed that there's a little bit of pathos in here, okay? Remember pathos, anything that appeals to your sense of emotions? All right, helping children get clean water. Okay, anybody who's ever seen a commercial with children in it or puppies in it knows that the automatic response is, "Aww," and that's definitely something that appeals to your feelings. So the point here is you're going to run into a lot of situations, not just from time to time, but frequently, where these appeals cross over. This bottle of water, for example, appeals to us emotionally. It appeals to us ethically. And it even, because it has some information for us about how the water is packaged and nutritional content, it even has facts and things for us that appeal to us logically. So though these appeals are very distinctive and they can be described very individually, they can exist together.